and co-sell for RX Muscle, Patrick Moore, TKO in the parking lot in Texas.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. And we're back and we're live for another edition of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, joined as always by the technician Chris Aceto and special guest Armon Adibi. Thanks for joining us, Armon, tonight.
What's up, gentlemen?
We got a little gossip, a little TMZ action in the bodybuilding world this past week. Patrick Moore, TKO or knockout, I would say. It's not even a TKO, a knockout in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I understand, isn't Patrick Moore the former Golden Gloves guy or something?
Yeah, he's former Golden Gloves champ. He was a boxer for his whole. Bodybuilding was like a thing he fell into because he was like people thought he lifted weights and he didn't lift weights.
Is that what it was? Now, Armon, you did a really nice little summation on your Instagram, I thought, of what kind of went down. You're from the Texas, gym community there, so you kind of know all the gossip that goes on in the gym community over there. Give us like a little summation of what happened leading up to the fight, and then we'll show the video of the fight from the parking lot.
Yeah, so I made a video of like what happened, and then on Instagram, and after I made the video, the owner of the gym texted me that got in the fight with Patrick, and he told me like more details. He sent me all the text messages that transpired in between them. And basically, Patrick, owed money, rent money to the gym. He owed it for a while. And, he didn't want to, I guess, the gym owner was like, hey, I need, the $900 by today, or, you can't come in the gym. I have to, you can't come in.
$900 for rent?
Yeah, gym rent. Yeah.
So he was training people at the gym, in other words.
Yeah. So his training rent. So,
okay.
Patrick, it was a friendly conversation because he sent me all the texts like, yeah, no problem, bud. Patrick's like, hey man, thank you for giving me the extra time and all this. And very, very friendly conversation. Like they were like friends. And then it turned south.
Hold on. I don't want to stop you. So Patrick knew that he owed this guy money for rent. That's what it seems like, right?
Right. Yeah. And so Patrick's like, hey, I'll have $300 paid today. And the guy's like, unfortunately, I need the whole $900 before you come back tomorrow because, it's been months since you owe me this money. Mm-hmm. And then the conversation, I guess, Patrick showed up the next day to the gym anyways, even though the guy said, hey, you can't come back.
Did you give the guy the $300?
I don't know if he gave him the $300 or not, but he didn't pay. I don't think he paid anything. And then he just showed up the next morning. And then apparently Patrick was bad-mouthing the owner to the front desk girl and all that. And so the owner...
Did the front desk girl let him into the gym to train his clients?
Yeah. She let him in, and then I guess he was bad mouthing the gym owner. So the gym owner called him, and Patrick didn't answer, and Patrick was like, "Yeah, you call," and the gym owner's like, "Yeah, hey, like what? Why are you bad mouthing me to Misty? Like you owe me money. Why'd you come in the gym?" And then the conversation turned south quick. He's like, I mean, I have all the texts. I can't even remember why it turned south.
They weren't in person. They were texting each other at this point.
Yeah. They were texting each other. It was just like, let me pull up the first one just so I can, remember what happened. Like, hey, it was like, hey, brother, everything's good, all that. Patrick's like, hey, man, I appreciate that you have my word. I won't mention this to anyone, like that he's given him extra time and special treatment and all that. And the gym owner's like, yeah, man, thanks. I'm giving a short version because they're long texts. Hey, I appreciate that. Patrick's like, no problem. I can send 300. One client just paid me. He's like, sadly, I won't be able to accept the 300. I need everything in full. Patrick's like, gotcha. Well, I need yada, 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 giving excuses or whatever. And the guy's like, let me know. And then the next day, Patrick's like I said, what's up, homie? You called. And then he's like, Misty, I guess the front desk girl told me you had a lot to say. The guy says, why don't you come to the gym so we can run it back real quick? I got my family in the car. Like this. So the gym owner's like, hey, why don't you come so we can like talk about this? And Patrick just says, boy, I'll beat your effing ass out of to him. And he's like, when are you there? You got the right one today, homie. Patrick says. And then I'll be there in 30 minutes. He goes, bet, I'll beat your ass shit, homie. And
all
then,
right, so let me stop you for a second. So it seems as though the gym owner is not interested in Patrick's $300, which usually if someone's offering you $300, you take it and you give them, all right, look, I need the rest of it by Friday or something like that. But he wants all his money. So which I have to believe means that Patrick has probably owed him for quite a while at this point, right?
Yeah, it sounded like it's several months. The guy told me already. He's given Patrick.
Yeah, or he's pissed off that Patrick's bad mouthing him to the front desk girl, and that's really what got him all heated up. That's what it seems like, right?
Well, it was before that. Like before that, he was like, no, I need the whole 900. Everything was
right,
friendly.
but he was cordial about it. He just now he wants to fight Patrick. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, it didn't really sound like that. He just said, hey, I have my family in the car. So it's like, hey, come to the gym. And it sounded like, hey, let's talk. I got my family in the car. And then Patrick just said, I'll beat your ass. So I don't know.
So the guy goes to the gym knowing that Patrick wants to beat his ass is my point, right? He didn't call. I would have called at that point, wouldn't you have?
It sounded like they were going to get into a conversation. It didn't sound like they were going to fight, but then Patrick said, "I'll beat your ass, homie." So
well, if someone says they're going to beat my ass, I either going to go there with the idea that I'm going to fight this guy, which I haven't.
Right.
Jimmo is a big guy. We'll play the video. You'll see.
Right.
Or I would have called the police and said, "Listen, this guy wants to beat my ass. He's at the gym. He owes me money. Can you please show up?" And I don't want to have a confrontation with this guy.
I would have just trespassed him, like if you're not, he's threatening. I'm not going to go fight a guy, and I'm a gym owner. I'm not going to have that bad PR at my gym.
Plus, Patrick is a former Golden Gloves guy, so he knows how to fight, obviously,
Right, and then I don't know Patrick why he wants to fight. I mean, Patrick owes the guy money. The guy's giving him enough time to pay.
Bro, you're reading your friends. This guy's your friend, this gym owner?
No, I didn't know him at all.
Why do you have text messages of
he contacted Armon because Armon did this video on Instagram about the whole thing. So
he contacts me, Chris, and then sends me over.
So you're getting, did you talk to Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick texted me after the video, and Patrick's like, was upset, and I was like, Patrick, do you want to come on with King Kamali and I and talk about it? He's like, no. And I'm like,
come on. I mean,
all right. So Patrick goes to the gym, and how does this thing even escalate to the fight?
Call me. Actually, when the show is going to start, I don't want to get into like text messages. This guy said,
yeah. Well, I'm not biased. Chris. I didn't even know the gym owner.
He's just letting everyone know that the gym owner contacted him.
I want to like get into the weeds of like.
Right. He's your client. I get it.
Well, I want to see how the whole thing escalated, Chris. That's what we're trying to figure out.
You just want to like talk gossip.
Well, this is a story that's out there. I want to see what happens. I have a video.
That's what I'm saying. You can. I'll join back in after you guys can like take it into the weeds, and it's like an important story. And
it's a story in the industry, so we're just going over it. That's all.
Oh.
All right. So what happened, Armon?
I'm at this point, Chris. I'm friendly with Patrick. We've talked before at shows. We're cool. We've talked before about
no one's judging anyone here. We're just trying to.
Yeah, me and Patrick are cool. I have no issue with Patrick. I don't even know the gym owner. I don't even know who he is.
Patrick's cool with you coming on the show and talking about text messages and.
Me and Pat. Well, me and
Chris,
Pat.
they're not friends. You know, they're
You might
just
be so
cordial.
cool with them. I'm just asking, did you speak
Chris,
with
me,
Well,
yeah.
not-
So Patrick texted me.
text messages?
Yeah, Patrick texted me after I made a short clip on IG, and he just told me basically I don't know what's going on. I said, Patrick, well, I seen the text,
Well,
I
you
seen
know
the
exactly
video,
what's going on because you got all the text messages, apparently.
right? And I see and I saw the other videos of him threatening the gym owner to tell on him for selling gear out of the gym.
Let me play this video since I got the video. Let's play the video because this is undeniable. So there's it's
Dave,
a fight.
but you don't know what led up to the video. Everything you're talking about is the gym owner providing text messages to Armon, and Armon claiming that he's like cool with Patrick, but when pressed, like, well,
I don't think Patrick is denying that he owed the guy money, though, Chris. So this obviously this whole thing escalated because of money.
Yeah, but now Armon is like taking sides with like he's gonna.
No, I'm not.
No, he's not.
No, I'm not.
I don't get that impression. I get the
No,
impression.
I talked to Patrick after that, Chris. I talked to him, and he said no. You know, he just said.
Did you tell him you're going to come on RX Muscle to read like private text messages?
No, I said me and King Kamali already did a video.
They're already
2
out
days
there.
ago. I told Patrick.
Molly did a video. I asked, did you ask Patrick when you spoke with him, because you guys are bros according to you, that you were going to come on the show and talk about private messages from the opposing side?
Yeah, I said me and King Kamali are coming on to do YouTube. Would you like to come on and tell your side?
No,
he said no.
I didn't say YouTube.
But it's already on, Chris.
Chris, I was already doing a channel on my show, on my channel. So I asked Patrick, do you want to come on, Patrick? And he said no. He said no.
Texted me now, by the way.
Okay, well, he's probably watching.
I don't have anything against Patrick. Obviously, I liked him.
We're just showing the story. Let's watch this video, Chris. Let's watch the video because the video is pretty entertaining. I will say, no matter who you agree with on this.
No, I didn't say the video was not entertaining or not like quote newsworthy. I'm just saying Armon is like
all right, so let's watch it.
Coming on like an expert witness when he's not even there, and he's only getting text messages from the gym owner.
All right, there's Patrick at the bottom of the screen.
With Patrick, and Patrick just texted me right now, you're not cool.
All right, well, I'm sure he's not cool now that he did the show with King Kamali on him. Yeah,
well,
right. We're not. Yeah.
Did you tell Patrick? He said, "Oh yeah, me and Patrick are like cool." It's like, well, did you tell Patrick you're coming on the show?
Chris.
Yes.
Chris. Okay. So let me get the timeline straight. I make a video on IG telling, hey, the fight went down, giving my, like I said, the guy pulled him off, talking about this video. And then the guy calls, the gym owner tells me all of this. And I said, Patrick, I'm doing a YouTube with King Kamali. Do you want to come on and tell your side? He's like, no. And he said, basically, I have me and Patrick text message. He's like, he didn't want to come. He's like, run your shit. And that's that. I'll go on Generation Iron and tell my side of the story. I said, well, I've got all the videos of you, telling the police this guy's selling gear out of the gym. Why? That's like a bro code of the industry. Why would you break that? So I found that not cool. Like I mean, we've all sold gear. We're in the industry. We've got people gear. Why would you tell the police this guy's selling gear and try to get him in trouble?
All right, let's watch the video. Let's watch the video. Because the video is the most entertaining part of it. I don't know all the details in between, but I know the video is entertaining.
Dave, Patrick, call Patrick. He said he's coming on the show.
All right, I'll get you. You want me to send him the link?
Right now, yes.
All right. So what? Can you send him the link while I'm showing the video?
I don't know how to send the damn link. Why don't you just pause the video, Dave?
Just copy and post it.
No, go ahead, Dave. There. So I'm going to be counted with Patrick.
All right. Let's get Patrick on. I'm all in favor of that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to send him the link.
On his way.
All right. Let's give him the link. If he wants to come on, this is great. All right.
Good.
All right. Just can you copy and paste that to Armon? Since you have a text message, can you copy and paste that link and send it to Patrick?
Copy and paste what?
The link to the show. The one I sent you?
You want me to text Patrick?
Can you text the link? It'll just be quicker if you do it, because otherwise I have to try to pull things up.
Yeah, I'll send it to him. Yeah, I'd have nothing against Patrick, and
No, just send him a link. Let him come on and tell us. I'm glad he wants to tell his side. I'm dying to hear his side of the story. I'm dying to show this video. I love the video. It's a very good quality for someone who didn't know that they were being videotaped. It's a very good quality.
I don't have his email. How do I forward this to his number?
Just send it to his text. He can come on with his phone.
I know, Dave, but I got the link.
Right. So check your email. Check your email on your phone, and then grab it.
All right.
Hold on, I got it here. Is Patrick?
No, I'm sending it to him. Yeah.
All right.
I gotta find his text.
Bring Sugar Ray Sean Ray.
Now you're really starting trouble. Yeah.
Patrick Moore's. I'm gonna send Patrick Moore to him with the front bicep. It's gonna be an upper.
Now you're really starting trouble with Sean. You had to bring Sean Ray's name up. Sid sent the link to Patrick. Okay, good.
Oh,
thank you, Sid. By the way, Sid's mom's in the hospital, so let's send out some prayers to him for that. So, all right. Chris, they want to know if you wear a G-string.
Not since I was 53.
Since we got Sid here, Sid, can you do the Can you do the audio play-by-play of the fight for us?
The play-by-play?
Yeah, we want you to do it in your best Howard Cosell voice.
243 pounds, ripped Patrick Moore.
Oh, there he is. What's up, Patrick?
What's up, guys? Let me put this on the headphones really quick.
All right. Or should I say Patrick Ali? Patrick Ali, we're going to call him.
Hold on.
Hold on, he's putting his headset on.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, just turn the music down in the back because they're gonna ding us for that.
I tell you what, let me go into because actually I don't even know why it's not connecting to the to the headphones.
It might be connecting to your car. Are you in your car?
No. I was actually not far from finishing up training.
Look, he even stopped his workout to do this, Chris.
Well, good thing I was towards the end of it,
Yeah, all right. We don't want to ruin your workout. You got a show coming up.
Yeah, no. Today was I don't know if I was supposed to be training, but
Chris, is supposed to be training anyway. You're not training at the gym where you got into the fight, were you?
No, absolutely not. I don't think I'm actually welcome over there anymore.
I don't think you're welcome over there either. Yeah.
No.
No video.
So while you're trying to figure the video out, what happened? Give us your
Don't want the video, Dave. Don't ruin a good thing.
Oh, you want me to show the video first?
No, Patrick's face.
Oh no, I know. He's trying to figure that out.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you too. All right.
You look
what happened?
241, but go ahead. You look 241 with the sucked face, but go ahead.
It's a good day down here for training, man. I got to say, I was telling the guy I'm pretty excited.
You look enormous. I got to tell you too.
A lot of people, were concerned if this little issue kind of stopped the progress. It did for maybe half a day. Past that, it was not an issue. But so you have the video there. If you have a chance to kind of watch it, but I can kind of give you the backstory to.
Give us the backstory before we play the video, yeah, because I love this video. But you could walk us through the video once we hear the backstory. I want your version of the backstory.
Okay, gotcha. So I had been training at this gym, probably maybe 4 months, 5 months. So I've been over there quite some time, and the guy that owns this facility, the Leader Fitness. He came from this gym, which is Texas Iron. This is my home gym where I, normally train on a regular for myself. So I had a couple of clients, that didn't necessarily want to make the commute, coming out this way because it's slight bit further. But once they actually came and saw the equipment, it was an easy transition. But that's neither here nor there. So I start over here at this gym. First off, the membership not being paid is some stupid shit. That's so annoying because, rather than go and post all the text messages and the bank account drafts and all that stuff, because, the membership is automatically drafted every month. So this is what kicked off the whole issue. So at a certain point, I told them, hey man, I have a couple people that I want to train there, because they wanted to come over from another gym where they necessarily weren't getting the results, and they wanted me to train them.
No, let me ask you a question first. I want to just get clarification on something. So you go to this other gym, you bring some clients over there. Were you paying a membership to train at this gym, or were you working at this gym?
No, so most gyms here, somewhat a membership's going to be automatic, but there's actually 4 gyms here that I don't pay a membership at all.
Right, I figured because you're a pro. Yeah.
And so for the couple that do, I never have a problem with it because business is business and people have to eat. So, before I was a professional and an amateur, I still had to pay gym membership. So this was nothing new to me. So over here, the gym membership was $70. And
a month?
Yeah. Nothing spectacular about the gym at all. It's not, like I said, half of the equipment in that gym was actually purchased from this gym owner.
Right.
So once he transitioned over there and he started putting all this together, I actually went to that gym before it was completed and had conversations with the owner and the other guy who actually punched me at the end of the video. Right. He runs a meal prep company, and he DM'd me on Instagram, and he kept asking if he could give me some meals, if I could promote the company. They were sponsoring all that. But at the time, I wasn't interested, so I kind of declined, right? So I started going to the gym, and in total, I had bought over like 6 members. So mind you,
and you're paying $840 a year to train at this gym. That's what
exactly. Right.
Crazy.
So this guy, he's automatically getting gym membership, which is fine. I don't care about that.
Right. Okay, so but you should. If you work at the gym, you shouldn't have to pay a gym membership. But you got
that's how I figured it. But people run their business how they want to run their business. So whatever. But I told him I had a couple guys I wanted to train. So he told me that he had another guy that was the head trainer there, and he was a guy that I know. So I said, hey man, what's the protocol? How do you guys go about doing this? And he said, well, it's $300 a month to, for gym rent. I said, okay. And, with that, I've paid gym rent before at a gym, but with that gym rent, usually they'll give you a client here or there if someone comes in and they're interested, right? None of that was happening here. So I paid the first month's rent, and my guy started training. Now, the way that I run my training program is guys will buy sessions by the month. So these guys in particular, they buy 20 sessions by the month. So it comes up to about $4,000 is what they pay in training fees every month.
That's a good business. Okay.
Yeah, especially here in Texas, because that's pretty high rate.
So they're close. So they're taking $300 a month from you rent and the $70 on top of that, right?
Yeah. For myself and the members that I bought over.
Right. You're bringing in members too at $70 a month, right? So
exactly.
It seems like they're double dipping here a little bit on your part. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll get to that part of the conversation as well. So I bring over members that I'm not training, so he's getting membership fees or dues from other people that saw that I post content there, which is usually what I will always do. Is any gym that I go to, whether I pay a membership or not, I'll try to promote them because that's just what you do. If it's a local gym, I like to support those guys because they allow me to train, and it just gives me an environment for me to do my job professionally without having to go to a LA Fitness or a 24-hour Fitness or corporate gym or whatever. So I tell the guy, hey, okay. He tells me, well, it's $300 a month. I say, no problem. I send him $300. I told him, well, my guys, once they finish their set of sessions, they then purchase a new set, right? Well, between me having to travel for the UK Pro, the Legions, and them being in and out, there were sessions that they had to make up. So at this time, time had gone by. I wasn't even paying attention to it because I just wasn't, right? The membership is steady being drafted or whatever, and I'm not seeing the owner. I guess he would come in maybe a time when I'm not there or after or before. So randomly one day he saw me in the gym and he said, hey, I've been meaning to how's everything going? And I said, man, it's going good. I'm just prepping for the Arnold, so on and so forth. And he said, I've been meaning to catch up with you for gym rent. So I responded back to that and I said, okay, cool, no problem. Because it had slipped my mind. And then he sent the other message, which we'll revisit that to go ahead and clear that rumor up about the snitching nonsense. So he sends me a request for $900. I'm like, okay. And I text him. I said, hey, man, let's have a conversation about it. We go back and forth through text, which I did not post online. because I didn't think it would go this far, right? I thought this would be something we could settle man to man or in person or whatever.
You're knocking him out in the parking lot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he sends that, and I say, okay, cool, man. Hey, I tell you what, my guys will be purchasing new sessions here in a couple days. I'll go ahead and get you squared away on that. And in the text, you know, having text is always a good thing when it comes to these type of issues. But
Right.
anyway, I told him, I said, well, they actually just paid today, so I'll go ahead and send you that $300. If you're saying that I owe you that, I'll go ahead and square that away. And then whatever's remaining, I'll take care of it in a couple days. He says, okay, cool. And after that, he said, you know what? How many people do you have? And I said, well, I'm just training 3 people. So in the text, he goes and he says, well, I'll go ahead and comp that rent, the gym rent for those 3 people. If it's any more than that, then I'll go ahead and have to charge you regular gym rent. I said, no problem. That's cool. I appreciate it. He says, but keep this conversation between me and you. I don't want to ruffle any feathers with the other trainers, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, no problem, man. I appreciate that. I'm thankful, you know, so on and so forth.
So what are you paying $100 per person per month? Is that how it works out?
No, I think that's just a flat rate that they must have. Yeah.
So how is he giving these people to you for free if he was still charging you the $300?
Well, he never gave me anybody. Those were people I bought over.
Right, but I'm saying, so he's still charging you $300 though. I thought he was giving you those guys for free though. He said.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So once he said he would comp the gym rent, I said, right. Okay. So once I told him I would square away the debt, which is clearly in the text, and he has these texts too.
So in other words, you weren't going to get charged anything in the future. You just owed him that back money. That's it.
Exactly, and it just slipped my mind, right? So we're going through the text. I said I'll square it away. And I clearly put in the text, I said, I'll make sure to cover the debt. So he said, well, sadly, I'm going to need the balance by the end of the day. So in my brain, if you knew this guy and you knew how pretentious he was and the way he carries himself, it was all left field because you swear he's a millionaire, a multimillionaire, you know, from his social media and all this other stuff, which he has since taken down with all the bullshit that he has actually orchestrated and started. So I told him I squared away, so he sends back a message and he says, okay. And he said, just let me know. So I said, well, speaking of that, anytime you bring members to the gym, they're supposed to give you a credit. Like some deal that they have, you know, that they were promoting the gym. If you bring someone on, they'll give you a credit, a free month or whatever. So I texted him and I said, hey, I bought these members over. And I mentioned it to Jocelyn, which is one of his assistants or the front desk girls. But I don't think she had a chance to take care of it. He said, I'll make sure you get credited for that. So at the end of this conversation, this is the previous night. I'm thinking, okay, because he sent the handshake emoji. And I thought, okay, we're square. I'll take care of the balance in a couple days. Right. So I go and train at my home gym, which is here. I think maybe this might be it's the only conclusion I could come to. I came to my home gym and actually posted some content that night, right? I hadn't heard from the guy other than, like I said, the official agreement, which, Armon, if you would have reached out since you have my contact, you could have had all these text messages, man. And
I actually didn't have your contact. When you text me, when we traded numbers at the Heart of Texas, it just showed up your text. I knew it was you because the matter of the text. I didn't actually have your name.
Here's where I think you screwed up, because the guy was going to give you free rent from this point on. I would have somehow scrounged up the $900 and given it to him, because he obviously was for some reason obsessed with this $900, and I would have said, man, he's never going to charge me again. I'll take it out of my bank. Here it is. Take it.
Look, that's what I told him, Dave. I told him, I said, look, well, they just paid. I'll send you this.
You should have given it to him right away. You should have given it to him immediately, and that would have ended the whole thing, because you're not getting any more rent charged to you.
And this is true. So I told him, I'll send this to you now, and then I'll send the rest, which is, you know, because everyone has a certain way that they're going to do their finances. Of course, this is the end of the month, so all the bills are coming out. And I'm like, okay, dude, I got it. It's a couple days. Don't worry.
It was like he was testing you almost to see if you would give him the money.
So, and had he said, hey, man, I'm in dire straits or whatever, I need it now. Okay, cool, man. I'll take care of it. But he was so nonchalant through the text. I got you. Okay. And that's the energy I got. Like, because he was like, okay, cool, just let me know. That's the last thing we had, the last communication. So I get up the next morning. Of course, you know, we have the freeze warning here, or we had the freeze and it was snow and all that shit. So now the commute to the gym is like 30 minutes instead of the normal 15. So I come out, my couple clients come out, and this is at 5:30 in the morning. So fresh ice on the ground. So we get there, and I try to hit my key tag on the door, and it turns up red. I'm like, okay, which was a shocker because they had just drafted my bank account for my membership 2 weeks prior. So I'm like, okay. So I tried again. It comes up red. So my client, he hit his, and it opened. So we went inside.
Right.
At that time, he had a front desk girl a woman who had been there for a while. Her name was Misty. So I said, hey, when you get a chance, can you check and see what's going on with my key tag? It's not opening the door. She said, oh, well, yeah, Patrick sent a message late last night to block your membership because you hadn't paid the gym rent. I said, okay, which is the crazy part, Dave, is gym rent is completely separate from my membership.
Right.
There's no standing contract for a gym rent. I have a standing signed contract for my gym membership.
Right. So you were paying the gym membership, right? So that he should never have cut off your key code card.
And that's where it got sticky because I'm like, dude, I'm in prep for the Arnold. I need to do my fasted cardio.
Right.
So now you're fucking with me personally. When all it was, you could have said, hey, you know what?
Yeah, don't fuck with the guy's workout. Yeah, exactly.
No, because it was a simple conversation. All he had to do was say, hey, you know what? You can't train these two guys here until we square the balance.
Right, but you were paying your gym membership, but that should not have affected you getting into the gym.
Exactly. So once she said that, and she said, we looked at the timestamp, and she said, yeah, this was later last night. I said, well, damn. I talked to him prior to that, and we were square. I mean, literally, the text said we were square.
Right.
So, of course, I get pissed off, and I start talking. I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up, this, that, and the other. So this guy, I guess he records audio and video in the gym without people's knowledge.
You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Yeah.
No, and this is what I'm finding out after the fact. So it's about 9 a.m. I go home, and I get a call from this guy, but I was asleep. And so I called him back around 1 p.m. after I woke up. And I said, he didn't answer. I said, hey, man. I said, what's up? You called? Because by this time, when I left Dave, I went ahead and canceled my membership. Because I said, well, wow, if this is how this goes, I have no interest in continuing the membership. So just go ahead and cancel. So he texts back. And again, all this stuff is in text. So his reply, he said, well, Misty said you had quite a lot to say this morning. Why don't you come up to the gym so we can run it back real quick? So at this time,
let me ask you a question. What is run it back? How do you interpret that as a guy?
Where I come from, a very, very, very rough background.
Yeah.
And that means we're about to fucking fight.
Right. That's what yeah. That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah. So I called, and so my immediate response as a self-respecting man, I said, man, I will beat your fucking ass. Just like that.
But hey, Patrick, he said he had his kids in the car though. If I have my kids in the car, I'm not going to go fight someone.
This is through text message. So the kids, this is through text. This isn't a phone call. So
yeah, no, I saw him.
Yeah. So after that, I go downstairs. I'm just waking up.
I think it's one second. What's important to say is when you see you didn't interpret it like a lot of people did. When he said we could run this back over, that means
I know what that I know what that means. But when he's
threatening Patrick at this point, you know what I mean?
But
it goes further. Hold on. Hold on, Armon. Let me show you how it goes further. This because I found out all this shit after the fact. So I go downstairs and my lady was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, the gym owner had some words for me. I'm gonna go up here and go see about it real quick." And I put on my Olympia jacket. I'm 100% not thinking like I'm thinking once I get there and he sees me, okay, we can go ahead and settle this out, right? Like maybe rethink the whole male bravado and tough machismo, all that shit that you're just displayed because it's just me and you. At this point, I'm not knowing other people have been privy to any of this altercation or whatever. So I go there and she's like, okay, well, she's shocked. And I say, yeah, I'll be back. So I grab a Bang energy drink and I get up to the gym. And his buddy, the one who hit me at the end of the video, is standing at the front door. So I walk up and I say, hey, what's up, man? I thought it was him at first, but they look similar.
Yeah.
So he says, oh, well, Patrick will be here in a minute. But the energy was kind of like the champ is coming.
Right. Oh no.
So now I'm feeling the energy, but I'm still not really there. And I said, okay, cool, man. I'm gonna go in and take a piss real quick. So he's like, oh, okay, but make sure you come back out here. I said, okay, cool. So as I come out the restroom, immediately when I'm coming out, because there's one restroom at the front of the facility. The owner comes walking across the front door. He's hyping himself up. He pulled his little coverall snaps and shit. Now this is funny because this is the shit he cut out of the video.
Yeah.
So he pulls the suspenders, and I go out there and I'm like, okay, he's kicking the ground and there's no ice on the ground. Like, so all that shit that people are saying he slipped, fuck, we all would have slipped. If that's the case,
let's watch the video. You can walk us through the video. Let's watch the video here.
Okay.
This is. I actually enjoyed the video. I got to be honest with you. The sadistic lunatic in me enjoyed the video. So hold on. Here we go. Let's pull this thing up here. Okay. All right. So that's you. You're at the bottom of the screen. He's in fighting stance at the top of the screen.
So if you rewind that video, you'll see me standing next to the car. Which is my car, right? So see, that's when he walked up. So right here, I stopped and I put my phone in and see my hand is up, right? I said, yo, man, this is really a conversation. We can go inside and handle this. I'm 5 weeks out from a show. I'm not about to fight you on some ice or wet ground. And so he immediately goes to fuck that. He's all these profanities and he's just screaming them out. So I walked up and I allowed him to take the first couple swings because I knew at that point what it was going to come.
Yeah, I'm going to stop it. What's your background in boxing now? Are you a Golden Gloves guy?
Yeah. I've had plenty of Golden Gloves tournaments, all that stuff. So that's something I did for quite a long time.
You know how to box.
And coming from where I come from, you're going to have to learn how to fight anyway because it's just not a friendly place. You're going to learn some form of self-defense. So I purposely parked right there in that corner because I knew that camera was there. And if anything happened on his property, everything could be documented. You know what I mean? So I walked up to him, and if you notice, when I walked up, my hands were down. Because this way I'm not trying to be threatening, and I told him, I said, we can go inside. Right there, you see my hands are down.
Yeah.
He immediately put his hands up, and then he took a swing. Yeah. Right there. He took a swing.
Yes.
And then he took So I said, okay, so you really want to go? And so we mixed it up. And he's just, at that time, I remember saying, oh, you're kind of nervous because he was just all over the place. Now, mind you, I have not put on gloves in 12 years, 14 years. Right. And I'm dieting, as Chris knows. So this is like, I'm not 100%. So I get him with a few good shots thinking it would deter him, but it's not enough. He grabs my Olympia jacket right there and he ripped the jacket off. So at that time, when he took that cheap shot, I said, okay, I'm about to put this guy down.
That was the knockout punch right there. That was not a slip.
No. And so
Howard Cosell, is that a slip?
Right?
Goes the gym owner.
And so he was completely incorrigible. He just was not, he would not back off. And I could tell he was either on something or I don't know what had him so hyped.
Bang energy, Jack Owak.
Yeah, and so where everyone's like, oh, I should have stopped. You don't realize when someone grabs you and they hit you with a cheap shot, a switch goes off. Because at the time, again, I'm not locked in thinking we're really about to fight. My brain's not processing that. I'm not in that mode. But once he hit me with that cheap shot, then now I'm going to try to kill you. And I told him that. I said, dude, I was going to try to kill you, man, because you took this way further than it had to go. So right here, where his buddy trying to break it up, he took that cheap shot at the end. So once the video completed and all the altercation was over, he goes inside. He runs inside the gym and he actually locks the door. So I'm standing out there talking to his buddy. Oops. I didn't realize his buddy had took a cheap shot because my adrenaline was going at the time. Right. So I didn't even know what happened, that he pulled me off in that fashion. So his buddy was talking, was like, yeah, man, and all this stuff. So the next thing you know, a tomball police officer comes up. So I'm like, okay, this is great. But I'm not worried because if anything happens, the whole video is documented.
Right, and he threw the first punch. Exactly.
And so he comes up, and coincidentally, the officer is the guy that goes to the gym. So he asked me, he said, "Are you good?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm fine." And he said, "Are you sure?" And he looked at my hand. It was all red from punching, the guy. And I said, "Yeah, man, I'm fine." And so he said, "Okay, well, we'll hang out here for a minute." So he goes and attempts to open the door. So what I found out after the fact was Patrick, the gym owner, he went inside and called the cops. But and I have all this on record with Misty, the receptionist, who he subsequently ended up firing, and her daughter.
Why did he fire her?
Because she knew the truth. She knew everything that happened.
Okay.
So he wanted everyone who was actually privy to the information gone. So she called me later that night and she was like, "Would you believe this motherfucker fired me?" And she said, "And my daughter," which had nothing to do with anything. So he went inside, and so the cops were like, "Yeah, we can talk to him, so tell us what happened." So with that whole snitching stuff, for one, he should have let someone know he was not going to talk to the cops. Why call them if you're not going to talk to them? So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to snitch this. I'm not going to tell the cops that this guy tried to assault me. I'm just going to let it go, and whatever. So if you notice in the video, which he clipped, again, he's not going to post the whole thing. I told the cop, I was like, "Yeah, it's the membership thing. He's double dipping." I'm just making up something quick on the spot because, I'm like, so once the other officer came and said that he locked the door and he wouldn't come out, I said, "Oh, that's probably because he's in there doing some shit." Because at this point, you pissed me the fuck off. You orchestrated this. You allowed the fight to happen, and then you went inside and called the cops. And then it's kind of like, oh, so you're just gonna let me take the fall for something that you started when really we could have just told them what happened. There's a disagreement, whatever.
Right.
That's not what he did. So come to find out from the receptionist, after the officer, he said, "Well, let me see your ID. I'll run your name. You can get out of here." So he ran my name. Obviously, information came back clear, and so I went home. So once I talked to the receptionist, she said, "Yeah, well, actually, he came up here and he said, Patrick's about to come up here. I'm going to beat his ass. Do you want to watch?"
Holy shit.
This is in his mind already. Like, so I noticed when I first got there, the members were coming out, and I heard one member say, "Oh yeah, that must be the guy he's talking about." So he obviously had told the members like, "Hey, I'm about to fight this guy." So
he really picked the wrong guy to fight. He should have picked like a Sean Ray or something like that, but
well, since Armon has a text message,
that guy who fights,
right? And Armon has a text message. I told him, I said, "You picked the right one today." Like, if that's the way you're trying to go. So even after all that was done, I left, and I found out that the receptionist, she said, "Yeah, he was in there cleaning his office out." She had to go get him out of the truck. He locked the front doors and he ran to his truck. She said he was in his truck and he was shaking, and she told him the cops needed to speak with him. And she said that he replied, "Well, what do they want me for?" And he was all jittery and shaking and all that. And she said, "Well, you called him, so you need to go talk to him." Well, apparently, I don't know if he ever did, because nothing ever came of it. I never got a police report. It was like it never happened. So by the evening time, I'm thinking, okay, cool, no big deal. I wake up in the morning, I get a few phone calls and a few texts to a video that was circulating. And I'm like what? So he put the video out, and then, I came up to the gym. I'm just doing my normal day. And I came up here to the gym where I normally train at, only to find out that I had already seen the video. But then the gym owner here, who's a guy I've known for 10 fucking years, he's a great guy. He tells me, "Yeah, I actually got a text message, and the guy sent the video here thinking that would deter me from being able to train at my gym home." But without the context of saying what all actually transpired through and through. He left all that out. And all this stuff about I've had this problem at other gyms, man, Dave, you could call every gym down here in Houston, man. I've never had that issue. I've never had an issue with any gym owner, any gyms, any of that. So once that happened, I thought, okay, wow, this is crazy. So then I went ahead and posted the clip. I said, well, if that's the game you're playing, man, I'm going to go ahead and put some things in motion to maybe you'll stop. Maybe that'll deter you. Right? Because after the fight, we were texting back and forth. I don't know if Armon has those messages. But
yeah, he sent them all.
Okay, so in those messages, I told him, I said, you're lucky your buddy was there to pull me off because I was going to kill you. And he said, yeah, you're lucky he was there because you were going to catch a murder charge. Dude, past a certain point, I don't want to hear any of that shit. Like, you started this, so I'm going to finish it. And that's where my head was at. Like, you have no right. When I tried to de-escalate a couple times, you should have just kind of let it go. It didn't have to go this far, but then you further were putting this story out like you weren't getting paid gym membership and just letting it flow. He's basically running to every outlet to tell this story. And I'm like, dude, just lick your wounds, man, and give it up. So in those texts after the fight, before any video, he said, okay, Patrick, well, you got yours. I wish you the best in your endeavor. And with a praying hands. That's the last text message I got from this guy. And this was prior to any of the videos, right? So I woke up to the video and the rumors and the nonsense. And, you know, of course, you're going to answer that. Like, it's like, no, don't try to skew the story with a false narrative, man. If you're going to put it out there, make sure you put it out through and through.
Let me ask you a question. I got a video that's out there where it's you talking to the police in the parking lot. And I guess maybe you didn't know that the audio was on, and it was saying something about that this gym owner's got sells gear, and that I think that's the snitch video that people.
Yeah. What's funny is, do you know the amount of people, including the officers? So if you look at that video, the officer kind of just shook his head. Everyone in this community already knows. This is not a surprise.
Right, but why would you bring that up at all, though? Because I mean,
bodybuilders
all the time.
That's like a bro code thing. You don't snitch on somebody about gear. We've all sold gear. We take gear. I mean, you don't go tell the police about.
Well, first,
gear.
Great. Guess what you also don't do? First off, I've never sold gear, but whatever. You don't fucking start a fight, then call the cops and leave somebody hanging. Because guess what? Had you addressed the cops, then I wouldn't be out there, because the cops, their energy was like, hey, we're going to have to take you in. Like, what is going on? Like, no, man. You don't, if you're going to try to leave me hanging and shit, dude, you're gonna go down too. That's how that, fuck a code. I don't give a damn about a code, man. I actually came up in the street. So all that nonsense, you shouldn't have called the cops. You shouldn't have started the fight.
And you felt that he wasn't.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And so you see, he went online and chose to post that clip and said, "I don't sell gear." Dude, so you're running a smear campaign. If you're gonna go there, that's when I posted the text message of him trying to sell me the gear. Like, motherfucker, if you want to play that game, trust me, dude, we can play the game, but make sure it's going to go all the way. If you play with me, I'm going to take it all the way. So, again, you call the officers. You should have talked to them. Don't go inside the building, lock the door. But he did that because he did not want them to go in and find out he attempted to assault me.
Did you feel, I got the impression, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, that you felt that you fought. There was an ending to this whole thing. You were leaving the gym, and that should have been the resolution. You didn't go in there and try to say, "Hey, he threw a first punch, and I want to have him arrested." So you felt that by him calling the cops, he was like trying to almost sabotage you at that point.
Yeah, it wasn't almost. The cop rolled up, and I was getting in the car.
You think he would have called the cops if he would have knocked you down?
Fuck no. And I guarantee you, if I was on the ground, you think his buddy would have pulled him off of me?
No.
After he just told everybody he was gonna beat my ass? Nah, man. What the problem is, his whole flight, it just didn't age well. And when it didn't age well, he figured, well, I'm gonna try to drag Patrick in the court of public opinion as to these fucking rules. Dude, we're in the street. I boxed in the actual boxing ring where you come to the middle and the referee says no below the belt, no this, no behind the head.
Yeah.
I told him in the video in which he clipped out, I said, I'm not gonna fight you in the street. If you want to handle this like that, we can go inside. He chose not to. So at that point, okay, we're going to get it on. And there are no rules. So it's not like I grabbed a brick. Like, this was hand to hand. And once you were put down, I'm going to keep going until you're no longer a threat, because I hit you 3 times thinking that would deter you. But
I understand. I understand the fight thing. I think that where the bodybuilders lose you a little bit is on the gear thing, because everyone's very nervous about that, because we all everyone uses gear, and it's just like a knee jerk thing where you don't say that. I think that's I think you should have just left at that
Well,
point.
you know, the officer could have taken that any kind of way because in this gym there's a TRT clinic. Like it's where they do sell. That's what they do. Like you get your peptides, you get your testosterone, you get legally. I could have went into detail and said, "Hey, let me talk to you. Let me tell you what this guy's really doing in there." So I said, "Well, you know, he locked the door because he's in there doing some shit." Well, yeah, he is doing some shit. And though, like I said, I got people act like that. I won't speak up on that. Like, dude, yeah, but guess what? You know, there's people always going to cry after something has happened, but guess what, Dave? Like you said, there was an agreement that was made. It should have stopped there, but you did.
The fight was over. You knocked him down.
Even before the fight, the fight didn't have to happen. We had an agreement. I told you I would take care of you, so you didn't have to cancel the gym membership or block it on some stupid shit. So,
do you think that he was trying to maybe raise his reputation? Hey, I knocked out pro bodybuilder Patrick Moore.
100%. Yeah, because I don't know how old he is, but I think he's in his late 20s. So he definitely has that energy. I mean, why would you go and tell people, "Hey, I'm about to beat his ass. You want to watch?"
Yeah, it seems like he was trying to like make a name for himself, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah,
man, and like I said, it's like, you know, if you don't want, when you fucking, guess what? You're gonna have to deal with the mud when you start the rain, and that's what it is. You can't start all this shit up because that's a code. Period. Yeah. If you want to get it on, man, let's get it on. Don't run inside and call the cops. Why the fuck would you do that?
You own a business, you don't fight in your business. That's the number one rule right there.
And you know what's funny, Dave, is, dude, I could have taken it further and contacted the attorney and said, "Hey, look, I want to press civil charges. This is his property. He attempted to assault me. I don't know. I hurt my hand or some shit like that. So I want to file against his insurance." But I dropped it, and then I wake up the next day to the shit that Armon got on his page, and Armon says he hit him up. I'm like, dude, this dude is still at it. Like,
I don't care. I don't care about the fighting. Like, I'm sure he tried to make a name for himself. Oh, I knocked out Patrick. He's that's all cool, fighting and stuff. Like, I've been in street fights going up. I don't care about that. It was like the part where you're telling the police, like, "Hey, I'll have the DEA run up in here, and he's selling gear out of here."
Right, and again, so would the cops have been there had he not called them?
It don't matter, bro. But why would you tell the cops about you selling gear?
Why the fuck would you call the cops?
It don't matter. You don't sell people about selling gear. We're the bodybuilding industry. Like, that's like a code.
Hey,
that's like a code.
Let me tell you. This is the thing, Armon. Look, I got into bodybuilding in my early 30s. I don't give a fuck about a bodybuilder code, dude. Bodybuilding is what I do. Where I come from, a real street code, you don't call the cops. So all that shit he put online about stuff you do will get you killed 10 years ago or whatever, dude, that same shit calling the cops will get the same result these days. So
he should never have called the cops, especially since he initiated the fight.
Fuck no, exactly. That's the fucking point. So anybody can say, "Oh, you shouldn't have did." No, don't fucking call the cops. If you do, I'm not taking a fall, dude. I'm getting ready for a fucking show. You fucking ran inside, you locked the door, and and then again, you're recording all this shit without anyone's knowledge, just so you can control the narrative and release it how you want, to put a spin on it how you want. But again, you don't come forth and say, "Hey, I could have prevented this altogether." And even past a certain point, I didn't have to go inside and call the cops. He called them. So yeah, you're gonna deal with the fucking mud. And anybody who has an issue with that, hey man, they can come find me. Because trust me, snitching, if I wanted to snitch Armon, dude, I have buddies that do work for the feds and the DEA. I could have easily called them and not said shit. But ask him, has anyone investigated this place?
But they're up there for a fight. The cops could care less if the dude's selling gear out of the gym. Like,
so why is it an issue? Since they could care less, they're up there because we don't know what they're up there for.
Let's get Chris. Let Chris talk. Yeah.
The fact that the guy called the police, he fully believed that the police were going to show up and take his side and consider assault because he lost the fight.
Right.
That's one. And then having Patrick on obliterates King Kamali and Armin's position, which was to obliterate Patrick's story. I mean, Armon, what was your intention in like talking about like one side of the story? That's why I started out with like.
Well, he reached out to Patrick.
I reached out to Patrick.
Dave, here's the deal, Dave. He did not reach out.
Armon doesn't have a chance to talk. I'm still talking. Now that you've had Patrick here, it blows the hole in like this position that Armon was going to take, like blame it on Patrick. That
No,
was
I didn't.
going to take. I mean, you can't tell me it wasn't. And this idea that like, listen, this code is just ridiculous. This makeshift bullshit code that like, oh, we've all sold steroids. One, no, we haven't. And two, the guy had already taken the position of like, I'm going to call the cops. It's another swing. It's not a physical swing, it's a legal swing. So Patrick did the right thing by saying, okay, if you want to bring in thinking you're going to bring in the cops and they're going to arrest me, how about this? The guy sells juice. Patrick actually did the right thing.
And that's what's crazy is even with the fight, fucking people going there and say, oh, you shouldn't have hit him while he was down. Motherfucker, this is a street fight. I'm confused. There are no rules. If the fact that this guy took a shot when my back turned, that lets me know that if it were reversed and I were on the ground, I guarantee you he would not have pulled him off and said, oh, hey, let him get up. No.
You had to neutralize him. Yeah, you had to neutralize him. Especially since you had a friend there who was willing to have his back there, which is dangerous.
I mean, I said it was a street fight. And I said, a street fight, anything goes. If you want to kill the guy, punch his head in the concrete, anything goes. And I said it was not cool that the other guy punched Patrick in the side of the head. The fight's a fight, but that
Armon, the problem, Armon, with that is you went ahead and aired a story without even bothering to DM me, and then once I got wind of it, because someone told me after the fact, and then that's when I messaged you. I said, hey man, you could have actually hit me up and got both sides, but you didn't. You went ahead and said, hey, I'm gonna air this, but now that you found out, you can come on if you want to. Nah, dude, if you call yourself a blogger, investigative journalist, or whatever, then you owe your listeners due diligence to get all the facts straight. But see, that's the thing with certain news outlets is, you have a responsibility with information, not just to deliver it first, but to make sure that it's true and accurate. But I get it. In this world in which we live in, you guys saw something and you wanted to jump on it first because it get you clicks, it get you bait or whatever. But dude, that's why I didn't release anything. I didn't post any of the shit until he did it because I thought it was a dead issue. I didn't think it was something for public opinion or public eyes because, of course, I get all the backlash from the members or people here in the community. They're like, oh, man, that's violence and you shouldn't promote it and so on and so forth. Well, I actually didn't. I was defending myself, and then once it went to a certain space, well, yeah, then we already crossed the line. There's no going back.
Well, you know what it is? You couldn't win in this situation because this guy was either going to beat you up and say, I beat up Patrick, or if you beat him up, he's going to call the cops on you and say this guy owes me money and he was attacked me in the parking lot. So
precisely,
you couldn't win on this.
Dave, if it knocked Patrick out, he would have not called the cops.
No, he wouldn't.
No, then he would have bragging rights. He would have gone on the internet and said, "I knocked out Patrick Moore," and he would have showed the video.
He would have spent it. He would have spent it a different way, and he would have said, "Oh, well, actually, he came up here for a fight, and I knocked him out."
Right.
But I'm telling you, Dave, he clipped the video, and I sat there. And
I think I'm getting the feeling that you were set up in this whole situation.
Yeah, because who fights 5 weeks out from a show?
Yeah.
When the show started, you could you do know. I just want to reiterate. Okay, you guys called me when I didn't want because they didn't have your side of the story, and I'm going to just talk about text messages from the gym owner, and I don't even know what's going on other than the video you tagged in.
Exactly, and I asked Armon. I told Armon, I said,
don't run anything.
Yeah, I asked Armon because Armon said he didn't know the guy. I said, man, you don't think that's weird? Someone's just running to you with here's some information. That's not normal behavior, man. I didn't run to anyone with anything. I have the same text messages. I have the same information he does. I didn't go to Dave and say, hey, Dave, want to run this story? Or hey, you want to run this story? Generation Iron, they hit me up 3 times. You think I talked to them? No, because I didn't think it was anybody's business but the two individuals involved, because once everyone else puts their spin and their opinion on it, then they tend to try to make it facts, when in case that's not what it is, because no one bothered. Even Nick Strennan Power, same thing with him. He went online and said, "Oh, I think he slipped on the ice. I think
The parking lot was wet. It was like it was melted."
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, again, we all would have slipped. But going as far as say, "Oh, Patrick shouldn't have hit him on the ground," and that's the rule.
That was a pretty solid shot.
I didn't say any of that. I didn't say that. And then on the clip I made on Instagram, that was like a 1 minute clip. But when me and Keith Kamali did a YouTube a couple days later, like I talked about the whole situation. I said the fight's a fight, whatever. But the whole issue I had was the police and whoever called them or not about telling about someone sells beer.
Let me ask you a question, Armon. Let's say that was never mentioned, right? And then
what is the big, like, your whole fetish is like the police? What is the big deal? The police.
Well, I want to know, Chris, let's say the cops went ahead and showed their own narrative because they saw me out there, blood on my hands. So what if they took me in for Class A assault or felony assault or whatever? Who's gonna come bail me out?
Exactly.
Not a fucking person. No one's gonna say, "Oh, wait, no." He went inside. He called the cops with the intention to let me hang for knocking him out.
Absolutely. So you physically knocked him out, and then you audibly knocked him out with, okay, the guy's dealing stuff in the gym. What's the point?
And then you go online and you start crying to people. Dude, just knock it off, man. Just stop. It's over.
You didn't call the cop. That wouldn't be an issue at all, Armor. Did you get that?
Yeah.
That's it.
My question, Chris, to you is, what's more impressive? Patrick's knockout of the gym owner 5 weeks out, or Jose Raymond's 400-pound squat for 30 reps at 1 week out from his show? Which was more impressive, Chris? Hold on, we can't hear you, Chris. We can't hear you. Something's wrong with your audio.
You can't hear me? You can or cannot hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
You know,
Hold on. Whose audio is that doing that? Is that Patrick's?
Oh, Patrick Moore.
That's Patrick's audio doing that. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, now you're better. Again, what were you going to say, Chris?
Okay.
Did you hear what I said, Chris?
No, I didn't.
I said, what was more impressive, Patrick Moore's 5 week out knockout of the gym owner, or Jose Raymond's 30 reps with 400-pound squat at 1 week out from his show?
Patrick Moore's knockout, because careful.
It's a joke, by the way. Yeah. Good.
Jose knew he was 30.
Yeah, man. It like I said, it's an unfortunate situation, and it's definitely not something I would find a situation I thought I'd find myself in, because it's so minor of what it escalated to. And I would ask him. I don't have any hard feelings towards the guy, because I like I said, it's a fight is a fight, and past that, it's done. And I was under the impression we were done after the text messages, but he clearly, obviously, still feels a certain way about it, and he kept this whole issue going online. And then the next thing you know, someone had contacted me and said, "Oh yeah, now he's reading books at nighttime and staying off social media." Dude, the damage is done. I'm confused. You've already set this into motion, and so then, if that's where you want to go, I'm just going to continue on the path.
I'm afraid to ask you this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just because I think probably other people are thinking about it too. Are you going to pay him the $900, Joe, or is that done?
Well, per his text, he said, "Don't worry about the little money. You're good."
Okay.
So, but again, if that satisfies him, sure thing. Like, dude, here you go. Reinstate the gym membership. I would never go again, because what happened consequently because of that. He's had quite a few memberships canceled, because the people in the community and the people at that gym, they know how I am. So when they saw him behaving in this fashion, the first thing they think is, wow, I can't support a guy like this. I mean, this is, it's crazy. So it is what I like he said, I don't regret it. I mean, I did everything I could to try to de-escalate the situation because, of course, I don't want to do something that I'm going to regret. But at some point, yeah, I'm going to defend myself. And then if it goes further than that, I'm 100% willing to take it there because it's me or you at that point. That's what it came down to. It was me or him. And I'm going to come out on top. I'm not going to – this is just not going to happen, man.
Yeah, yeah. Rules of the street are a lot different than the rules of
in the ring. And he texted me that. He was like, Patrick, in the ring, do they let you beat people on the ground? Well, no, it's a boxing ring. We actually have a referee that goes in and makes sure that doesn't happen. But here in the street where you have on construction boots and oak coveralls and all this other shit, this is what you asked for, man. So you're going to have to see it through. I mean, that's just fair play. And you know what's crazy, Dave, is I didn't go up there with anyone because I didn't think this was, I was going to need anyone. I am licensed to carry. I didn't go up there with a firearm to protect myself. Right. I was thinking, okay, one last shot in the dark. Maybe we can settle this and figure it out, and that'll be that. But again, hindsight 2020. Once I heard from everyone else what his plan was, he wanted to do that. Like you said, he wanted the bragging rights. Had it went the other way, there'd be no cops. There'd be no friend helping. It would just be the situation in reverse. And if you think this video is viral, imagine him having been on top.
He wanted to beat you up so that you could put the video up. Yeah.
Yeah. And but you know, man, I'm not an aggressive person. That's not, you know, you get older, you get more mature. You learn not to, you pick your battles. And 5 weeks out from an Arnold, I had the opportunity to work back with Chris when we were on great track. I'm not trying to go do some dumb shit and get an injury where I can't train. Mm-hmm. Now I've allowed you to mess with my livelihood and everything else I'm trying to accomplish that's positive, over negative bullshit.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show, Patrick, clearing up the whole thing. And thanks, Armon, for joining us as well. And Chris for bringing a semblance of balance to the show today. And it was a crazy one. I hope you have no more drama for the next 5 weeks.
Nah, man, I just tuck in and I'm over here at Texas Iron Republic, man, and we don't do drama over here. We just
what do you weigh now? What you're looking huge.
Yeah, I was 245 before I left, and but you know what's crazy? It's a much the last show for the UK at this point out I was like 229. But that's because the guy I was working with I wasn't feeding me anything. I mean, I was severely depleted. It just was not a good prep, and it's okay. You learn, you live and you learn. And, some coaches aren't great, but I told my buddy, I said, man, you know what? I really regret stop working with Chris, and I said,
that was your biggest mistake, not the fight or anything or the $900. You should never have stopped working with Chris Aceto. There you go.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. But since he brought me back in, I'm excited that we're able to work together again because we did some really, really great work. And I'm excited, to get back in the mix and show a physique that I'm capable of.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to see you back on stage again. And thanks for clarifying all that. And we're going to wrap up the show now. Chris, as we say every week here at Heavy Muscle Radio with Heavy Muscle Radio.
This time, the truth really effing hurts.
Right in the head.